I've pulled me shorts and me undies down, and I'm holding onto the back of my jet ski, and I'm standing on the back. And lo and behold, I'm going, as you have to.
Number 2, by the way.
Number 2, everyone, number 2.
Putting some fish food out there.
Some burley. And this was about 10 minutes after seeing a bronze whaler. There's a lot of sharks out there. This little wave had come just at the point where the log was half out of my ass, all right? It was half out of my ass. Little wave had come and it just pushed me over, and I was in that point where I couldn't do a thing. Not a thing. So I went with it. Lo and behold, I'm screaming out to me, mate. I'm like, shit, you know.
Literally.
I felt like that lady out of the Titanic, you know, when Jack and her were holding onto that door. Well, I felt like her, except all I had on was a wet shirt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to the Australian Hunting and Beyond podcast with Matt, where we talk about hunting, shooting, fishing, camping, and everything else that the great outdoors has to offer. Let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. We are fresh out of Croak Camp. That little introduction was the end of the show. You want to stick around right to the end and hear the full story. It is damn funny, but this whole episode is a absolute blast. I've never laughed so hard recording an episode. I think it even topped Snow Camp if you enjoyed that one. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who attended Croak Camp. I had an absolute blast and we did pretty damn good. 10 deer on the deck in a very pressured state forest. We were running into hunters absolutely everywhere. I hope everyone's had a fantastic rut so far, and we will be having a couple of episodes over the next few weeks in regards to Croak Camp and just hearing about what happened down there. There's some really fantastic stories and some funny things that occurred. All right, well, I know you're going to enjoy this one, so have a listen.
All right, it is day 2. We're sitting here in Croak Camp. It's 9:37 and, well, I'm covered in blood, my trousers. That's always a good sign, but let's forget me for the moment. He's done it. The man, well, the half a man, we should say, but the little fella, or the fantastic Frodo, as he will now be known, he's done it. Frodo, my man.
Yes, we've done it. First state forest deer.
And can we just clarify for all those listeners, all those supporters out there who are cheering you on,
Yeah,
you did it before Frank.
I sure did.
What a win. What a win.
Yeah, I sure did. And he was a cracking buck too. So Frank's got a lot to work for.
Mate, I will say that is a monster state forest buck. But before we get into that, I'm sitting here with Frank's brother, Tony. You're in the car. We'll talk about that one a bit later. There's a pattern going on here from you two. And then we've got our lucky fella, the Irishman's here, Gaz.
G'day.
And you got your first deer.
I did.
And a buck.
Absolutely.
In a state forest. Mate, it has all happened. Guys, you want to listen to this one because there's a lot going on. We're going to hear... We got to start with Frodo.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, where do you want me to start? From the day we got here, or just of how
the car?
Well, no, you know where I want you to
Do you want me
start?
to start from where I got, I felt defeated?
Let's go back to you guys seeing the Samba and the video. I wasn't even here, and the video we get sent, I could picture you just jumping up and down on the seat. And I mean, like, literally standing on the seat in the car, jumping up and down.
He actually grew a foot. He actually grew a foot, Matt, at this point. He did.
Well, that was... So we decided just to get in the car, go for a drive, have a look for some spots, get familiar with the area again. So we went back up towards where Snow Camp was, and we kept going up.
Had some PTSD.
Yeah, a bit of PTSD from the tracks that Frank led us down last time. Anyway, we went past those tracks. We decided, no, we're not doing that again. Went up, kept going further up. I can't remember the road now. But anyway, we get to the top and, all these little clearings and everything. And every time we'd see one, we'd stop and have a bit of a look, see if there's anything. And we get to the one at the top. And as we've stopped and looked over, a sambar stag has lifted his head up. And I've never seen one in the wild before, ever. I've heard honks and stuff, never seen one. So my excitement was...
I was there. I might put the video on the social. Can I just clarify, when you say you haven't seen a sambar in the wild, what zoo has a sambar that you've gone to?
Well, actually, I've never seen a sambar.
Oh,
actually.
okay, just clarify.
Yeah, I've seen plenty on hunting games. So anyway, and so I'm like punching Tony in the shoulder. I'm like, get your camera out, and then I said take a photo or something, and then we had, for some reason, we had previously looked at the map like 100 meters before we got there, and it was actually in a non-shooting zone, so we kind of knew that when we got up there, which, you know, it is what it is, but he's taking video, and as the sambar stag starts walking away, a bigger second one appears, and that's when I get real excited. You know, you hear me say that, you know, it's a sambar stag. I said it like 6 times because I just couldn't believe it. Like, you're out in the wild, you hear all these things, you listen to Errol Mason and you hear all these stories, guys shooting them and stuff like that, and to actually see one and see how big they are. And mind you, these things are only 25 metres away. Not fussed, really, didn't really take off in a hurry. They sort of just moseyed on away.
Was it the Irish elk was that massive thing? Like, there was a deer that was monstrous. I think they called it the Irish elk. I'm just sort of picturing what you see. Like, for, you know, like you probably, like a fallow to you is probably the size of a sambar to us, but that thing's like an Irish elk.
Hey, well, I thought he was an Irish elk when I shot him. Right. I was going to be like Legolas and ride him in back to the car. But
all 140 meters.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but he was having a sleep, so. Anyway.
All right, so it started well. You saw plenty of deer first before I got down here.
Yep.
We saw 10 in the first hour.
Nice. You got to be happy with that. And then nothing like shout out to Sam. He knocked over 2 deer. Unfortunately, got quite sick and had to take off home. So he had opened the account for Croak Camp with 2, and then I think Rob was next, wasn't he?
Yep.
Rob got a spiker, and I'm glad he got one coming all the way down from Queensland. He's knocked that. We'll probably get him on and record something while we're here as well to hear about that one. And then you went out. We went out. Like, we did it sort of as a group, the 4 of us.
We all went out.
We all went out, and
Yeah.
well, you've got to tell the Frodo method, because it's important that people know what the Frodo method is, because I used it and it worked. And so let's go through it.
Well, it seems Gary might have used it too.
Yeah.
And it worked to some
I also
degree.
used it and it worked.
Well, after we've been here, me and Anthony have been here since Saturday afternoon. So after looking for spots, sign, tracks, the whole lot, walking countless kilometres, you know, seeing nothing, and then yesterday afternoon, you know, me and him were getting a bit delusional, making jokes out of nothing, you know, as we were following you around on the tracks. And
We've got to talk about that. So we're driving, just trying to find some spots. So we decided before we actually get to your buck, we decided we're going to drive around and just do some scouting, because there's a heap changed. Places I thought were good were definitely not good, and so we were just driving all over the place. I did take us down some sketchy tracks. At one point there, I believe, you guys were laughing that we were going to have to do a 450 metre reverse, and then I got on the blower and said, we're going to have to reverse.
yeah.
Well, I think it was more the fact of that we realised that you were taking Frank's position in the tracking and taking us down some very, very sketchy routes. And at one point I thought Frank was with us. But
Well, look,
Yeah,
as
that
I
was pretty
said,
funny.
nothing frightens a Triton. So I was going anywhere. It doesn't matter. And then actually on that, and Gaz, you weren't even there, but you'd parked up and we saw your car, and we spooked a massive buck. And it was the weirdest thing, because obviously it's the exclusion zone where you were parked. It was sitting like on the road, like literally 2 meters off the road, just in like blue gum saplings, and it ran. It was an absolute monster, and it ran like it was literally, it was watching your car. I think it was sitting there sizing it up.
That's
Maybe
lady luck.
I thought it was the does and it was holding them there. I don't know. And then it shot through. And then, anyway. All right. So we did that. We came back. And then we're out. We made a plan. We said, this area looks good. And then the four of us went out.
We all decided that we didn't want to climb hills, I believe.
Well, that's because you trekked like massive amounts. Geez, there's some hunters around.
Yeah,
We ran into a couple. We saw a couple out. There was cars everywhere.
absolutely.
But you did a massive amount and then said, I just want to keep it cruisy. And we said,
Yeah,
oh,
I think
that's
I
all.
covered nearly 17, 18k, and my legs were a bit cooked, so it was. I want something a bit flatter
Yeah.
for the afternoon. I was debating whether to even come out, and then we all headed together
Yeah.
and picked a random spot to pull the car up.
You know what I think it was? Because we were following you, Gary. I think people talk about the luck of the Irish. I think that luck was just coming off your car onto mine.
Pot of gold was at the side of the
I was
track.
That's right. It was hitting your car. I was too far back then. It wasn't hitting me.
I'm sure we weren't going to have too much trouble. We had an Irishman and a leprechaun in the same tree. So
Luck was definitely on our side. Yeah, definitely.
So we got to the car park spot, literally pulled over. There was another pair of hunters that pulled over about 50 metres behind us. They walked past us and said, hey, we're going up here. We're going to, hunt this little section. And you, Frodo, just went, stuff it.
Yep,
I'm going in there.
that was my attitude.
And it was the
looked at map.
smallest little chunk of green I'd ever seen.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, I mean, that's probably big for you. But I mean, for us, we would have covered
I
it in
thought there's a good 1,000
seconds.
acres.
And you just went, I'm going that way.
Yep, that's it. I got out of the car. I didn't take my backpack. I'd put my binos on, had my rifle. I had a bottle of water in my pocket, and that was it. And I just said, there's the green. I'm walking that way. And that's it. No plan, no nothing. Didn't follow any tracks.
I think he tied a Sam flag to his. That's how we knew.
Well, okay, before we go any further, Tony, where were you?
Yeah, look, Matt, as defeated as both me and Anthony were, I realised at one point that, well, look, you are a gentleman, and you've taken us out. Whether you're trying to be a gentleman or whether you just want to absolutely throw it up Frank, but we know that you wanted to get us out there and get us onto some deer. And I just thought to myself, if we keep trudging around in a group of three, I don't think we're going to have much luck. So that could be one excuse, I suppose. The other one was I was just flogged. Like Gary said, we'd done a lot of walking, and my legs were fried. And the first night me and Anthony got here, we were so excited and pumped from seeing those two sandbar stags that at 2 o'clock in the morning we decided...
Oh, this is G-rated show, guys. G-rated.
Right, mate, yeah. So we decided that we'd have a 2-hour conversation in the absolute middle of the night. And it wasn't, if we had started a conversation, because it was daylight savings was swapping over, if we'd started the conversation at 2, it'd finish at 4, we'd be right, we'd get up and we'd probably go out hunting. But because that hour, the 2 hours was actually 1 because of the daylight saving changing over at that time, we decided to go back to bed eventually. And yeah, it just, from there, I think I was burning the candle at both ends. So yeah, long story short, I just decided that I was going to sit this one out and let him go on his merry way. And I think being as small as he is with the narrow footprint he has, he was going to be very quiet. And sure enough, either that or maybe me and Frank is just the curse because, Frank's not on this trip. And I said, I'm just going to sit this one out. And all of a sudden, after doing 3 days of reconnaissance and 400 kilometres, I sit in the car, Anthony walks out 50 metres, and here we are.
So then Gaz and I, we went for a walk. We decided to go up the road and we were going to attack the road. We just kept walking into cars every 50 metres. It was almost like you could see one car from the other and people had just leapfrogged. And we got to the point where we said, stuff it, let's go to a totally different spot. And then you heard the shot. I had my headphones on, so
Yeah,
directionally it wasn't great.
We only got about 850 metres from our car and passed multiple cars.
Yeah.
And then we heard bang directly behind us. And we thought that's going to be Frodo or it's going to be those other 2 hunters that walked in between us.
We did think straight away it has to be him because we haven't gone that far. Those blokes walked before us. Surely they're not that far behind us. So we started walking back.
Yeah. We trudged our way back,
And we're,
past all the cars, and out came a shaken Frodo.
not just shake. He's come out of the bush. I don't even know. Like, he was nowhere near the cars. That's the first thing. He's come out of the bush, and we're looking at him, and he's like shaking. And I did it. Oh, go on. I did it. And I was like, did you get one? And he's like, yes. He could barely speak.
I'm pretty sure I said, and he's huge.
I think you did say he's huge. And then I didn't, look, in fairness, you saying he's huge, I thought it's probably a fawn. Anyway, so we kept going back. We've called Tony to come, and we've started heading in. Tony, you kept asking him, tell us what happened. How did he react to that? There was no coherent conversation coming from him, to the point I actually think I said to you, just let him have a moment because he can't talk, and we'll get there. Yeah. And then it got to the point. I'm going to throw you under the bus. You'll have to.
Yeah,
I had to take your phone because you could not navigate us back to where he was. He was shaking.
I couldn't read the map properly. I'm like, is it that way? Fucking, where is it?
So you're telling Gaz, I think it was that way, go left. I'm looking and going, no, mate, Gaz, go right. He's going the wrong way.
Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for that awesome hunting t-shirt or hoodie to level up your wardrobe? Well, head over to the AHB store and check out the range that we have to offer. We have a variety of different collections for you. So whether it's supporting the show, hunting, fishing, camping, drone fishing, or something else outdoors, we probably have something there that is for you. Each piece is designed so that you can look great whilst representing your outdoor passion. Whether you're down the local, hanging with friends, training for the rut, or just chilling at home, there's a design to suit. Just search Australian Hunting and Beyond Linktree and head to the store. What are you waiting for? You're just one click away from representing that outdoor passion with style. So, let's get into that new clothing.
And then you spotted him, Gaz, and I remember you just going, holy.
He was massive. Absolutely massive. Right on the other side of a little swamp that you trudged us through.
And he was
I never walked through that area either.
You would have drowned.
But the thing was, right, when I went to go back to the car after I'd shot him, when I looked at the map, last time I was looking at where I walked, like I did like 2 360s. I did like 2 circles. I had no idea where I was going. I was completely like, my brain was somewhere else. I reckon I did an extra like 200 meters of walking just in circles trying to get back to the car.
Oh, God.
I was, and I'm like, it's got to be here somewhere. Like, I'm not that far in, but yeah.
Tell us the story.
So, pull up, get out of the car, put my bino harness on, bottle of water in my pocket, got my rifle, and I just go, there's the green, I'm walking in. No plan, no nothing, just walking in. Didn't look for any tracks. And then start walking in, and every sort of 10 meters, I'm looking down at my phone, just checking to see how close I'm getting to the green. And then, about the 4th time I'm looking at my phone, where I'm standing, where this like little creek is, like a, I guess you could say like a creek area. And then I'm looking at my phone, and I see something move in the corner of my eye. I'm like, all right, beauty, I'm at the green. And I see something in the corner of my eye, but I'm still looking at my phone. And I was actually swapping between the Rob's maps and the Avenza map to see, like, any clearings or whatever. And anyway, this thing moves, and I didn't take any notice of it. I'm thinking, it's probably just a roo, whatever. There's plenty of them about. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to get my rifle off, might put one in the spout and just get ready because, there could be something moving. And as I do that and I look up, and this thing is staring at me about 30 meters away. And I'm just staring at him like, holy shit. And all I remember was, as I've brought my rifle around, he's still looking at me, and honest to God, this is where I think being short helped. Because the grass...
That's a weird-looking wallaby.
The grass I was standing in was about up to my waist. I was in front of a tree. I reckon he had no idea what I was. Couldn't see my legs, obviously. So I reckon he was probably a bit like, what is that? And I honestly think that's why he stood there for, it seemed like minutes, but it probably all happened in 30 seconds. Anyway, I've shouldered the rifle. I've got it on his chest, dead on, gone to pull the trigger. Nothing happens. Safety's on. I'm like, oh, shit. And as soon as I've clicked the safety off, he's gone to bolt, like he's heard that noise before. And as he's gone to bolt side on, I've just let him have it, and he literally dropped on the spot, kicking and thrashing, but wasn't going anywhere. And I couldn't believe, like, I was shaking, like, I couldn't stop shaking. Like,
Yeah, we know, mate.
Like
We
I was
saw you.
freezing cold, but I wasn't cold, and I was just shaking. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm surprised you didn't hear me laughing. Like, I was laughing like I was at a comedy show. Like, this has happened. How's it? And anyway, I get over there and I'm just looking at him like, I don't believe this. Like, not only is it my first state forest deer, but he's a cracker. Like,
He's a monster. We'll put photos up. Mate, you'll never do better.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. But I was shaken, like, far out. And then I remember thinking to myself, I've got to get back to the car. I've got to get back to the car. And then I got through where I walked through to go to him. I went back that way, and that was about as far as I got. And then I got lost going back to the car. That was 140 meters away.
Trek for kilometres, no go, 140 metres from the car, drop him, and he's a monster.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've heard heaps of stories of guys that are like, went out hunting all day, I walked back to the car and there's one, 200 metres away. And you think, oh yeah, and then it's happened to me. I still can't believe it's happened, but... So finally I get back to the road. I'm about 100 metres away from where the cars are, further up the road, so I don't know how that happened. I see you and Gary walking down and couldn't get words out. I'm looking at you like... It's almost like I'm looking at you expecting you to know what I'm thinking.
Which we sort of did.
We knew.
Yeah. And when you couldn't talk, we were pretty confident he's got one.
So, and then Anthony was walking up from the car, and I remember saying to him, I got one, like, and he's big. And then you're like, all right, where is it? I'm looking at my phone going, oh, well, he's that way. And then I took us on some wild goose chase, and yes, you did take my phone and navigate us the last 50 metres to the deer, because...
That was halfway, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, and we got there, and that was it.
At what point did you think, shit, Frank is not going to believe this? And now he has an immense amount of pressure on his shoulders. Although you're 4.5 foot, there's a lot of pressure for him to have.
Well, the first thing I thought was, I didn't miss, so I got that on him.
Oh, that's the knife turn, isn't it? Oh.
And he was in sort of half run, so I guess you could say he was moving too. So yeah, I've definitely got that on him. But I to be honest, at first I couldn't even comprehend what had just happened. Like, I didn't even really notice his antlers until he had sort of gone side on. And it sort of happened so quick, like because I shoot both eyes open, and I saw everything, and it happened so slow when he turned side on. It's like I saw the antlers, saw how big he was even in the body. It all happened just as like the shot went off. And then when he dropped on the spot, I was like, I don't even have to track this thing. Like, it's right there. Like, it's, yeah, everything just, the stars aligned, I think. And I think all the hard work and...
Oh, no.
No.
Don't dare.
Looking for all the sign and getting nowhere.
Don't dare talk about hard work.
Look, there's the chance he could have been deaf and blind too.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how that body got back to the car.
Oh, so all right. I'm gonna give you a story from a few years ago, quite a few years ago. and then you will probably understand of where this marries up. So about, what do you say, Ant? Probably 11 years ago? It'd be about that. So 11 years ago, hunting at Cooma, me, Frank, Anthony, and my brother-in-law. Anyway, we were out whistling foxes. We come, and it was late afternoon. Anyway, we whistling foxes, and we decided that, you know what, we're gonna give this away. Let's just try and go get some deer for the afternoon. And anyway, long story short, I bagged one, big buck, a bit bigger than this one here, and we spent, I don't know, 2 hours looking for him. Like, long grass, middle of winter in Cooma, freezing cold. We finally find him. It's dark by this point, and we're like, how are we going to get this thing back to the car? So, I don't know, for those of you who haven't seen Frank, we used to call him Frank the Tank for a reason. Now, he carried this deer on his shoulders back to the car. A fully grown fallow buck. We put it on his shoulders. He carried him back. I carried the head, and some of the grass that we were walking through was taller than me. So Frank carried my deer back to the car, and on this time round, Matt, Gary, and Anthony each took turns in dragging this deer back to the car for me. So I've got a bit of a habit here where I'll shoot something and people carry it back for me. So
if there was one more person there, I'm sure they would have put you would have got on their shoulders to back to the car too.
I'm amazed you didn't ask for someone to piggyback him, like while we were dragging it or something. Like.
Yeah, so, you guys did the hard work. I just filmed it.
Yeah. And can we also make note that he didn't have a knife?
I had nothing.
He had nothing. So luckily I had all my gear and passed it over to him, and he gutted it eventually.
Yep.
And then we dragged it.
I think one of the biggest highlights, he felt so light after shooting that because there was immense pressure, from Frank. But I think one of the biggest pressures was from his wife, Emma.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Just run us through that, Ant. And, I think how many
She
times...
thought he was a vegan.
Yeah, so my wife gives me a lot of shit for going out hunting and coming back with nothing. And the last time we went, she made a comment of like, do you just get dressed up in camo and go to all the local cafes in the area where you go? Because you don't come back with anything.
The camo caffeine connoisseurs, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So she's... she gives me a lot of stick about that, about going out hunting and coming home empty-handed and spending all this money on everything. And, I buy new things and explain to her why I need it. And her excuse is, well, I don't know why you need it because you never get anything anyway. So, I guess she gave me the motivation to keep trying. But, this deer only cost probably $5,000 a kilo.
Yeah. Bargain.
Pretty cheap. So, yeah. She's she made a comment which I laughed about. So that show Duck Dynasty, you got Miss K and Phil. So Miss K does all the baking and the cooking and stuff, and my wife's right into that stuff. She does all that sort of stuff. And I said to her one day, I go, you're like Miss K. And she goes, yeah. And she goes, well, I can't say the same for you being like Phil. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, when he goes out hunting, he brings stuff back. So she's always digging the knife in. But yeah, this time round, when I rang him and told him I got one, she was really happy, and the boys were really happy. So now they're fighting over who is going to get to hang the antlers in their room. So yeah.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah, really good trip. Turned out to be really good, and I'm over the moon.
Well done, absolute cracker. I'm not joking when I don't think you'll get a better state forest buck. He's a cracker, and geez, that's got to hurt Frank. Not only the first deer before him, and he spent hours and hours. I'd say months more.
Yeah.
Maybe years.
Don't
more
forget
in
he had a
state
dog
forest.
too. Or
And he's got a dog.
Yeah.
You didn't do any of that.
No,
No.
none of that.
You went, I'm going that way. I'm going to walk.
Yep.
And you shot at 140 meters from the car.
It's the Frodo way.
The Frodo method.
That's it.
That is, well, we'll touch on that later because it works. Gaz, we're on to you, mate. We got excited. We saw absolutely nothing last night when we went out. You were scaring the crap out of me. Oh, we got to go back to that. What about when we're at the deer and Frodo was looking at it, trying to work out how to cut it up because it's been so long he didn't remember. I think you actually said that too, by the way.
I did. I said, I don't remember what to do. It's been that long.
And I'm standing next to Gary and he's got, what is it? What's the speaker you got?
CJ Productions.
CJ Productions Game Caller.
Game caller.
Yeah. And so the speaker's in his backpack and he's hit the friggin' thing next to me and I nearly jumped a foot in the bloody air. I was not expecting it in the slightest. So we then went out last night and you were hitting that. It's good.
It's really good.
The rattles, the croaks,
For someone that doesn't know how to croak or rattle correctly,
yeah.
this thing's a game changer.
Yeah. So we did that. No good. No dice. Was, came back, said, we'll attack it in the morning. We all went solo this morning. You took off to your spot. And
New game plan this morning.
New
Felt
game
pretty
plan.
happy. Went back to the general area where Frodo got his. But this morning was very different. There was box croaking, which there hasn't been any other morning. And got out of the car. I was the first one. I could hear croaks all around me. Pretty much done what Frodo done and pointed a direction, went a croak came from there. So I headed that way. I got no more than probably 300 meters into the bush, and two does come running down the hill about 150 in front of me. Couldn't get anywhere near them, but decided they come down the hill, so I'm going to go up the hill. That led me on a bit of a goose chase. Got to the bottom of the hill, hit the croaker, stood silently for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I heard the thrash. There was a deer smashing up a tree at the top of the hill. So I thought it was being quiet, but it was pretty loud, and hightailed it up the hill. Got to the top of the hill, hiding behind a blackberry bush. Found my first little scrape, there was nothing there. Then I heard him crash again. He hit the tree. Came around the blackberry bush. There was a doe standing on the other side of on the other side of the blackberry, just standing there. I edged around a little bit more, and it did not budge. I edged around a little bit more, and lo and behold, there he was, on his rat pad, giving it. So I lined him up, and just gave him a good old pump. And he fell about 2 meters from it. And yeah, a couple of does headed down the hill, and thankfully it sounded as if someone else got a shot off as well, so maybe another deer to recall for that.
Well, this is not just your first buck, it's your first state forest deer, but it's even more, it's your first deer.
First ever deer. Second trip to the state forest. That was only a matter of 2 weeks ago. And yeah, first deer, first real state forest proper hunt. Spent a lot of time yesterday walking around, finding all the right signs, rub trees, scrapes, wondering where they were. Was I in the right areas? Just needed a bit of lady luck.
Yeah, all right.
Follow the Frodo method, I think.
It seems to
Frodo.
work. So I think what you got to do is wear yourself out for 3 days, then get delusional and go, there's nothing around, stuff it, I'm going that way, and I'll be waiting for you. So it's 2 for 2 so far.
Oh, mate, well done. You got to be super happy with that. That's unreal. I'm so glad to have been here when you got it. It's just for both of them, actually.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I've shot plenty of pigs, but never a deer. And Man, it's exciting. Very exciting.
Absolutely.
Can we just jump back for a moment? So, poor Emma, you go away, you don't bring meat back home, and you gave half the meat away last night.
Oh, I gave not a little bit. I just was.
He's digging the ditch. I hope Emma listens to
I
this.
was
I'm sending
happy,
it to her.
and I wanted to share it with my fellow hunters. All right, that's all I did. I just wanted to share it out. I wanted to share my success with everyone else.
Very cool.
Yeah, at least I'm bringing some meat home. Like
10 years of success sharing it to everyone else.
that's exactly
Took 10 minutes to hand out your success. 10 years waiting.
Yeah, I was. I just thought, you know what? Like, he's a big boy. I got meat. I got a trophy. I'm happy. Whoever wants some, I'm happy to share it out. So.
Oh, what a win. Croak Camp has gone off with a bang. It's day 2, 6 deer on the deck, maybe even more. So I feel the boys aren't even back yet. So, this morning I was so keen to take you out, Tony, and got up, starting to get ready. Turned to Frodo and said, "Where is he?" And he said, "He's sleeping." I said, "Well, do we wake him?" And he goes, "He's got earplugs in. I'll go check." And then you emerged again, and it was a no-go. You're going on your own. I was like, "Oh, okay, look, he's walked a lot of miles. I'll take this one and I'll jet." So I shot up. I tried something new. I was, you know what, I'm just going to pull over. I'm in the dark. Just pull over, listen for some croaks. Because there hasn't been, I've heard one maybe. And I was like, this is weird. A bit different to normal. So I was doing a bit of a leapfrog. Did not hear absolutely anything. And I got to the point, I was like, stuff it. I'm going to do the Frodo. And I pulled over to the side of the road on just a patch and just went, I'm going to just walk in. So walked in, got in. It's probably about a 30-metre walk about 30 to get into the green. Got there and just started making my way down a game trail. Came on this nice little opening and just went, well, there's a big dead tree there that would make a great rest. It's crunchy as all hell. I think I'm just going to go and stand here for a little bit. And I probably was there for under 5 minutes. And I hear a noise coming down the left. And I literally, the first thought was, oh, man, a damn hunter is coming my way. Because there's plenty about, and it was a lot of noise. And I looked over and see a deer just coming straight at me. And I couldn't take him because he was actually coming from the direction of the road, well, sort of diagonally a bit, but I wasn't keen to take that shot just with not knowing what was behind. So I just stood my ground and he ducked off into some bushes. Now, I could hear some noise in there. I think he was playing around and rubbing and stuffing around. He was a little spiker. Well, he could be a buck. I don't know. He's got a little knob that I call the Frodo palm. It's a very tiny little palm. It's only a couple of inches, but hey, look, I'll take it.
Yeah, look, for anyone listening, I'm actually not that short. I'm short, but I'm not a midget.
He's temporary shorter.
I'm a solid 5'6".
With stilettos on. So I just sat there, calm. The heart rate. I noticed the heart rate just jumped. I just brought it back down. Just wait to see what plays out. I was thinking about a bit of a rattle because I could hear him bashing around in there a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't notice any antlers. Just the way he came in, I couldn't see with one of the sideways branches, and I just went, oh, we'll wait and see how this plays out. And then he popped out in pretty much the perfect spot, and I just let him walk a little bit more. I didn't have the rest, so I just had to take him freehand, and I reckon he's probably about 30, 40 metres, and just put one straight through his lungs. Probably a heart shot, to be honest. Actually, no, it was a heart shot because that was absolutely demolished inside. And that was it. He stumbled around and dropped, and happy days. We were on the board. So Frankie was into us last night when we called him.
Yeah.
He was giving me grief, saying that I had to get something, that the pressure's on me, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's not any pressure. Not that there was, Frank. It just keeps coming your way, mate. So this afternoon, and we still got a day with you, Tony? maybe longer. Who knows? We might get you back down.
You might be taking him home, Matt.
I've got a lot of motivation after Frank's choice words last night. You know, I thought I'd ring and share the success with him, but overhearing him talking to Anthony, saying, you know, I'm willing to accept to become second to you, but as long as it wasn't that other clown that got one. So
I think he was talking about Matt.
Oh God, no, because I've already got deer in here. No,
So,
it's definitely Tony.
after hearing that, you know, I just had to have a little extra nap this morning, and this afternoon I will be doing the Frodo method, heading out there and hopefully coming back with a win.
Well, you know what? The Frodo method's 3 for 3. See if we can make it 4 for 4.
This is true.
Can we go back to that phone conversation with Frank last night when we rang to let him know that you had got the deer? And he kept saying, I'm happy, I'm not upset, but then kept pausing his camera.
I don't think he wanted to see the tears rolling out of his eyes.
Every time. He just kept pausing. There was at least 3 pauses. We had to stop and say, can you stop pausing the camera? And then when he came back on, the glasses were foggy.
Yeah.
I couldn't see his eyes. So it was like, you know, there was a...
Well, could you imagine, you know, doing all these courses and having a dog and everything like that, and, you know, someone that you've hunted with your whole life just walks in off the road 140 metres and bags a cracker?
I think
That's the best.
I think he paused the video because he just went and opened Joan's kennel and just let her free.
Just let her go. Joan, you are no longer required. Be free.
But it's been a good time down here, Matt. It's really appreciate you putting it on for us because, you know, getting away, you know, it's been great. You've put us onto the spot and had a good time so far. That's for sure.
No, it's been a blast. I'm glad we've done it. It's been one of my favourite. I was saying to you on the drive back was not just only sitting around the campfire with everyone. That's been really good, but I haven't had laughed so much in a 2-day period, which has been hilarious. It's just gold.
And mainly at my expense.
Oh, it's always at your expense, but
So I noticed a pattern when Frank's not around. I'm the one that cops it. But at least I
true.
can back it up with some shooting skills. So, yeah.
What did he say when we sent the... Oh, so when we called Frankie, because I think we were more excited about that. And the first thing back down here at camp with some reception, you called him, FaceTimed him. It wasn't a call. It was like, I need to FaceTime this.
Yeah.
And then I sent him... I had the photo just
You had it
lined up,
ready
ready
to
to go on Messenger, and just flicked it straight through. And his first reaction was, "Oh, you got good at Photoshop." That's just derogatory comments from him, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean, disappointing. And I know he keeps saying, "I'm happy for you." I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't get that feeling last
Yeah,
night.
I think when he goes away next week, I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna stop. He's gonna.
What? Walk into the bush and never come out? That's right.
You know what? I reckon there'll be a point when he goes away that he'll look for sign. He'll do everything that we've done, and I reckon there'll be a point he'll go, you know what? And if I know Frank, he's gonna sit there and go, I'm gonna try the Frodo method. I'm gonna see what happens. And if he gets something and it works, I know he'll be ringing me, pissing himself, laughing, and going, I do not believe that this just worked.
Oh, but it'll be the wildest story you've ever heard, though. I was out spotting doves, bin chickens, you name it. And out of the nowhere, I seen this glimmer of this buck. And mind you, the buck's already been shot at by someone else, and it's limping away. And it was one breath from being dead anyway. And he's Frank in the right place at the right time, and he's dropped it. But he'll tell you a full-winded story.
Tripped over a wombat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, on that, I pegged you. 140 metres, I measured yours from the car.
Yep.
And this morning, I pegged you. I got mine 130 metres. So the Frodo method, hell, why walk through the bush, guys?
Yeah.
100 metres is all you need. Just do that. That's it. What
That's
a
it.
win.
You don't need to travel far from the comfort of your vehicle. You just got to pick a right spot and just walk in there.
It's, mate, it's been great. Everyone getting success. 2 first deers.
Yeah.
No, 3. Sam got his first with the rifle, and first ever state forest. So congrats, Sam. Spearing you couldn't stick around and be here. And then there's a couple other boys, so hopefully they could get onto their first. But before we wrap up this one, there was a story, a fishing story. You know where I'm going with this.
You want to put this on?
I want to put this on. I have never laughed so much in my life. It has to come out.
Yeah, righto. All right. So,
Hang on. You haven't heard this story yet, Gary? Oh, no. Oh, you're in for a treat.
So I'll just a quick background story so the listeners can understand. During COVID, me and my best mate were watching YouTube, and there was a couple of shows there, YBS, Back to Basics, and we were watching these blokes, and they'd be out there on their jet skis fishing, and this is when you couldn't leave your postcode unless you were working. So me and my mate had this bright idea that we'd start our own business, and we did, and we'd film ourselves going out fishing. So we bought these Sea-Doo Fish Pro jet skis, and we headed out a few times, and the cops pulled us over, and they, you know, you're not from this postcode, and we're like, yeah, no, we get it, but we're filming for our business. And sure enough, we beat the system, and that was bloody brilliant. But you know, after we got sick of the South Coast, we decided we were going to go for an adventure up to Fraser Island, and me and my best mate we were about 20 k's offshore, and you know, when you have to go and you're 20 k's offshore, you're not going to make it back to land too quick. So
On your jet ski?
On my jet ski, yeah. So we're out off Fraser on the jet skis, and my mate was about 100 metres away from me, and I just said, mate, I need to go to the toilet desperately, and I'm not going to make it in. And he said, neither. I'm just going to trudge over here and have a crack. And I was like, righto. So I'm watching me mate's method. A bit weird, but anyway, I thought I'll give it a crack myself. So I've pulled me shorts and me undies down, and I'm holding onto the back of my jet ski, and I'm standing on the back. And lo and behold, I'm going, as you have to. And
Number 2, by the way.
Number 2, everyone, number 2.
Putting some fish food out there.
Some burley. And this was about 10 minutes after seeing a bronze whaler. There's a lot of sharks out there. This little wave had come just at the point where the log was half out of my ass, all right? It was half out of my ass. Little wave had come, and it just pushed me over, and I was in that point where I couldn't do a thing. Not a thing. So I went with it. Lo and behold, I'm screaming out to me mate. I'm like, shit, you know.
Literally.
I felt like that lady out of the Titanic, you know, when Jack and her were holding onto that door. Well, I felt like her, except all I had on was a wet shirt. Because when I wear glasses, so when I'd fallen in, the first thing I did was try and grab me glasses. And my jet ski was upside down. We're 20 k's offshore, mind you. And at this point, I thought, I don't know if this thing's going to sink or what's going to happen. So after a minute, I regathered myself, and I somehow managed to flip the jet ski back over. I've jumped back on, and I'm huffing and puffing. And I had my glasses, lucky enough. And at this point, I'd realised just how bad the situation was. I seen one thong floating over to the right. The other thong was floating over to the left. And realising that I was sitting there nude, just a shirt on. I looked to my right, and about 5 metres deep, I can see my undies going down. Next to that was my shorts. And I thought, I'm in for a real good time here. At this point, I'm going to get a bit graphic, but there was shit everywhere. My seat was smeared with it. It was in the gunnels, floating in the water. My feet were in it. It was everywhere. My mate came over and he said, what happened here? Looks like a murder scene. Mind you, at this point, my willy's still hanging out. I'm sitting there in shit. And I just realised that maybe fishing just wasn't for me either. It was lucky enough that I had a towel inside where you carry all your storage. So I wrapped the towel around me, and we hightailed it back. But at one point, it was flickering, the towel was flickering quite a bit, and I thought, I think I have to slow it down here, because if I lose this too, I'm absolutely screwed. But yeah, this story lives on, and unfortunately, whoever owns that jet ski now, I do apologise, because there must be some of my feces still left in the stitching.
Oh, all right. What a way to wrap it up. Day 2. Oh, it's we still got a lot left in the day, but what a good way to recount what just happened, and what a story to finish it up. It's there's been a lot of laughs and a lot of good times, and there's still plenty of time left. So, all right, guys, thank you for coming on, and Tony, we'll let's go get you that first deer.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I look forward to it.
All right, listeners. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Australian Hunting and Beyond podcast with Matt. Thanks for tuning in and can't wait to catch you next time. But in the meantime, if you want more, you can find it at linktr.ee/Australian Hunting and Beyond. That will give you our YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, you name it. We'll catch you next time.